So in this video, we will learn how to enroll a user in WebinarKit on Instamojo Payment. Now suppose you are conducting some kind of webinar using WebinarKit and you are using Instamojo to collect the payment for that webinar. It is a paid webinar. So guys, you want that the customers who are paying you, you want to add them in your webinar. So basically you can automate this complete process. And the trigger of this automation will be payment received in Instamojo. So as and when we receive a new payment in Instamojo, automatically the customer who made the payment will be added as a registrant in our webinar. How you can set up this automation and use it? To know this, you have to come with me to my screen.
So first, we will go to our browser and search for pabbly.com/connect. And after reaching to the landing page of Pabbly Connect, by clicking on sign up free, you can create your free Pabbly Connect account in just 2 minutes. Or if you already have an account, just click on sign in. So I will sign into my own Pabbly Connect account. So after clicking on sign in, we will reach to this all up page of Pabbly. So at this page below Pabbly Connect, we will click on Access Now. After clicking on Access Now, here we have reached to the Pabbly Connect's dashboard. Now at this dashboard, we just have to click on Create Workflow and give this workflow a name. For example, I would like to name my workflow as Instamojo to WebinarKit and click on Create. Now we can see that our workflow is open over here. And in this workflow, we have two different windows. First one is trigger window, second one is action window. So triggers and actions are basically those two concepts, those two principles on which this whole automation works on, where the trigger says when this happens and the action says do this. So let's begin with our trigger window. So the idea here is, first, we have to get the details or the data of new payments which we are receiving on our Instamojo payment link in Pabbly Connect. Then after that, using Pabbly Connect, we will send the details of the customer who made the payment to WebinarKit so that we can enroll that customer or add that customer as a registrant in our webinar. So let's begin with our process. So here in trigger window in choose app, we will search for Instamojo. Instamojo it is. And after that, in trigger event from the drop down, we will select new sale. After selecting a trigger event, Pabbly Connect gave us a webhook URL. Now we will use this webhook URL to make the connection between Instamojo payment link and Pabbly Connect. And how we are going to do so, you can refer to the help text given below over here. So just copy this webhook URL from here and then go to your Instamojo account. So here, this is the dashboard of my Instamojo account. Now here, either you can add this webhook URL to your existing payment link or payment page, or you can create a new one. So we are going to create a new payment link over here. Just click on create new, go to payment links and click on create link. Then select smart link over here and give this payment link a page. For example, webinar on YouTube marketing. Webinar on YouTube marketing. So this is the name of the webinar for which I'm getting the payments. Then just select the pricing. For example, I will enter a pricing of 9 rupees over here and click on customize link. Then after that, at this page, select smart action and then select add webhook. Now as we select add webhook over here in this update payment link section, here we have a field. Now in this field, we have to paste the same webhook URL which we have copied from Pabbly Connect. Just copy this webhook URL from here, go to Instamojo and paste it over here. And after that, just click on done. And that's it. We have successfully created a new payment link in Instamojo, and using the webhook URL, we have connected that payment link with Pabbly Connect. Now every time we will receive a new payment in Instamojo on that payment link, we will get the details of the very same payment in Pabbly Connect as well. And we are going to do the same. Just copy this payment URL from here, go to new tab and paste it. Now in Pabbly Connect workflow guys, we can see that it is showing us waiting for webhook response, which means Pabbly Connect is waiting to get the details or the data of new sale from Instamojo. So at this payment URL, at this payment page, which we have created just now, we are going to make a dummy payment, a test payment. For example, I'll enter a name as dummy name. Let's enter the email address. And after that, let's enter a dummy mobile number. Click on next. After doing this, let me make a payment over here. And the payment is done. We can see that we have successfully received a new payment on our Instamojo payment link, which we have created just now. And because we have connected this same payment link with Pabbly Connect using the webhook URL, the details or the data of this payment, newly have received payment, will also be captured inside Pabbly Connect. So let's check. We'll go to Pabbly Connect workflow. And yes guys, here in Pabbly Connect in trigger window, we have received a response. And in this response, we have the payment link ID, we have the payment ID, payment status, currency, amount, as well as the MAC ID. Which means whenever we will receive a new payment in Instamojo payment link, we will get these details of that new payment in Pabbly Connect. But guys, we will notice that in this response, the details of the customer who actually made the payment is missing. So basically using this payment ID, we have to retrieve the details of the customer. So the important note over here says, note that if you need full details corresponding to any transaction ID, then you need to use the Instamojo get payment details event in the next action step. So basically we have to scroll down, come to our action window, and here in choose app, once again we have to search for Instamojo. Just select Instamojo over here. And then after that, in action event from the drop down, select get payment details. Click on connect and select add new connection. Now here guys, we have to once again connect our Instamojo account with Pabbly Connect. And this time to make the connection, we required the private API key and private authentication token of our Instamojo account. So how we are going to get this? Now to get the private API key and private authentication token, just go to the dashboard of your Instamojo account. And at this dashboard, on the left side, you can see API and plugins, this option. Just click on it and you will get the API key and API secret basically, or private authentication token over here. Then just copy the details from Instamojo, paste it in Pabbly Connect and click on save to make the connection. I have already made the connection, so I'll click on select existing connection and click on save. Now after connecting our Instamojo account in action step, it is asking us for the payment ID. That what is the payment ID, what is the transaction ID, whose details we want to retrieve. So in our trigger window in this workflow from Instamojo of new payment, we have received the payment ID of that very same payment. So we have to basically map this same payment ID over here in this field. And the process of mapping guys is very simple. Simply click on this field and in the drop down from Instamojo responses, trigger responses, we can see all the responses which we have received. Just select the response of payment ID and map it. And after that, just click on save and send test request. After clicking on save and send test request, we can see that all the details of the payment are captured over here. So in the response, we have all the details regarding the payment, like the name of the customer who made the payment, phone number, email address. Other than that, we have the amount of the payment for which the payment was made, date and time of the payment, and other details as well. So guys, we have successfully received the details of the customer who actually made the payment on our Instamojo payment link. Now, we have to send this same details of the customer to WebinarKit so that this same customer can be added as a registrant in our webinar in WebinarKit. Now to do so, we will just scroll down and click on this add action step button over here. And after that, here in choose app, we will search for WebinarKit. WebinarKit it is. And after that, in action event from the drop down, select new webinar registration. Click on connect and select add new connection. Now here guys, we have to connect our WebinarKit account with Pabbly Connect. And to make this connection, we need the API token of our WebinarKit account. Now how we are going to get this? Just to get the API token, go to the dashboard of your WebinarKit account, go to the right side of the profiles corner, just hover on it, scroll down and click on settings. After reaching to the settings page, just scroll down to the end of this page. And here you will find an option named as API access. So here, because I have already created my API key, that's why you can see my private API key over here of my WebinarKit account. But if you haven't created your key yet, you can see a button, you will be seeing a button named as create API key over here in place of delete API key. Just click on that button and your API key will be generated. After that, just copy this API key from here, go to Pabbly Connect and paste it over here and click on save to make the connection. After connecting our WebinarKit account, we can see that here are some details that WebinarKit is asking us. So the first thing it asks us is the webinar ID. Then in the drop down, we can see the list of all the webinars which I have created in my WebinarKit account can be seen over here. So it is asking us out of all of these webinars, in which webinar we want to add the registrant or add the user. So I have created a webinar named as Webinar on YouTube Video Marketing. I want to add that customer who made the payment on Instamojo to this webinar. So I will select this webinar from the drop down. Then it is asking us for the email address. So we have received the email address of the customer who made the payment after retrieving the customer details of Instamojo. So from these responses, we just have to map this email address over here. And as we all know, the process of mapping is very simple. Simply click on this field and in the drop down, we can see the responses which we have received from Instamojo of new sale as well as of get payment detail action step. So from the responses of get payment details, select the response of email address and map it. Then after that, it is asking us for the first name, last name, country code and phone number. So from Instamojo, we have collectively received the first name and last name. Basically, we have collectively received the full name of the user. But now we have to split it. We have to split this full name into first name and last name. And to do so, we just have to click on this plus button, add action step button over here. And after that, in this action step in choose app, we have to search for a feature of Pabbly Connect that is text formatter. Search for text formatter over here. After selecting text formatter by Pabbly, in the action event from the drop down, select split text. And then click on connect. Now it is asking us text to split, that what is the text which we want to split. So we want to split the first name and the last name of the customer who made the payment, which we have received from Instamojo. So we have to map the same text over here in this field, text to split field. So we'll just click here and from the drop down from the responses of Instamojo, we will select the name of the customer and map it. Then it is asking us for the separator. So we will use space as a separator. We want to split this text before and after this space. So we will use space as a separator. And in segment index, we will select all. And then click on save and send test request. Now after clicking on save and send test request, we can see that we have received the first name and last name of the customer as separate responses. So one by one, we will map this first name and last name in this field. But before, let's click on connect over here in WebinarKit and let's reconnect our WebinarKit account because we have added some new text, some new data in the above step. So after reconnecting it, just click on this first name field and in the drop down, we can see responses of text formatter. And out of these responses, select the response of first name and map it and follow the same process for last name as well. Then after that, it is asking us for the country code. So what is the country code of the customer? So we have received the phone number of the customer, but we haven't received the country code. But I'm in India and the customer's country code in India is basically +91. So I will manually enter the country code and then the phone number. So from the drop down, select and map the phone number. After entering all these details, the last thing it asks us is webinar presentation date. So here we have to enter the actual date of the webinar on which we are hosting, on which we want this user to attend the webinar. So what is the date of the webinar? Let me show you. Let's go to settings. Let's go to WebinarKit, go to the home page. And then this is the webinar which I have created. Let me show you. Let's click on edit webinar. Next. So here we will scroll down and we will find that I have scheduled this webinar to be executed on 17th of August 2022 at 12:45 p.m. So guys, on this date, we want this person to attend the webinar. So here in webinar presentation date, we have to add this same date, but we have to enter this date and time in ISO 8601 format, which is this format. So we will just copy this format from here, paste it over here, and we will make the changes in this date. So the date was 17th of August. So we will enter 17th of August. Year was 2022. And the time was, let me check the time was 12:45 p.m. So we will enter 12:45 over here. So after entering this webinar presentation date, basically the date and time of starting of webinar, just scroll down and click on Save and Send Test Request. After clicking on Save and Send Test Request, we can see that we have received a response over here. And this response seems to be a positive response to us. This response shows that the customer who made the payment on our Instamojo payment link is now successfully added as a registrant in our webinar in WebinarKit. So let's check it. Let's go to WebinarKit. Let's go to the home page once again. And this time we will go to the analytics of this webinar. View analytics. We will scroll down. And yes guys, dummy name, the same customer who made the payment, whose details we have entered while making the payment on our Instamojo payment page, the same customer is now added as a new registrant in our webinar in WebinarKit using this automation, which means the automation which we have created in this video is working perfectly fine. Now every time we will receive a new payment on our Instamojo payment link, automatically the customer who made the payment will be added as a registrant in our webinar in WebinarKit. So we have successfully created this automation. Now let's understand in brief that what are the steps we followed. So first we have created a workflow in Pabbly Connect, and in this workflow we have selected new sale as a trigger event and Instamojo was our trigger application. Then we connected our Instamojo payment link or payment page with a webhook URL using a webhook URL with Pabbly Connect. And after that we made a test payment on Instamojo payment link. Then we received the response of new payment in Pabbly Connect, but in that response, we haven't received the details of the customer. So in the next step, using Instamojo's action step get payment details, we retrieve the details of the customer. Using text formatter, we have separated the first name and the last name from the full name response of the customer. And at last, we have collectively sent all of these details to WebinarKit so that we can add new webinar registrations in WebinarKit. So not just these applications guys, you can basically connect plenty of other applications using Pabbly Connect. And guys, one more important thing. You will find the clone link of the same workflow in the description box below. By clicking on that link, you can clone the same workflow into your own Pabbly Connect account and use this workflow for free.
If you need any kind of help or have any queries, you can ask them on forum.pabbly.com and you can check Pabbly Connect's pricing at this link. So if this video was helpful to you, you can like this video, don't forget to share it with others, and to keep getting such content on automation and integration, you can subscribe to Pabbly. Thank you, have a nice day.